often at the beginning of the year or sometimes in the middle, we often set goals, whether they're personal goals, professional goals, financial goals, health goals, whatever it is. You know, those things we want to work on achieving throughout the year. But as a wife, instead of setting just marriage goals, do you often set your own wife goals as well? Well, before I get into all that, let me welcome you back to my channel. My name is Ayanna, and this is Beyond Committed, where we talk about everything from life, faith, family, marriage, motherhood, and everything in between, and we take them beyond. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I'm so glad you stopped by. And to make sure you're not a stranger, make sure you press the subscribe button below and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now let's dive right in. Every year, especially at the end of the year, I like to kind of sit down and reflect on the year that's passed. You know, the highs and lows, kind of see, okay, what were my wins? What were some of my losses? What are some of the lessons I learned? Some of the things I want to take with me, and then some of the things I want to leave there. But I also like to take time to kind of set new goals, realizing that, okay, there's so much ahead of us. There's so much that can be done in the year coming that I need to take some time to kind of set goals to make sure I'm intentional about working toward them. And I don't just sit down and set goals for myself. I also sit down with my husband. We make marriage goals. We set family goals. We have financial goals. We make sure that we are aligned on our couple goals to make sure we are working towards achieving the things we want to achieve together. And over the years, I have learned that on top of setting like personal goals for myself, I have to set wife goals because I mean, it is so easy to kind of just get caught up in kind of doing the things I want to do or being intentional about, okay, my husband and I working together on our marriage. But as a wife, I have to be intentional about working on myself as a wife so that I'm the best wife I can be. And it'll help us actually achieve our marriage goals. So in a previous video, I talked about like 5 wife goals we all need to set, which I do set all of those. But this year I decided, okay, I'm going to up the ante a little. While these 5 goals are great, I'm going to have to be a little bit more specific and a little bit more intentional and almost like challenge myself in my goals this year because as the years go by, the more years I'm married, the more I understand about my husband, the more I grow as a woman. There's some things that, you know, kind of need to kind of up the ante as well. Some ways that I need to, you know, show up a little better. So I decided that in order for me to do that this year, I'm going to set it as one of my goals. So I'm going to share with you my 3 wife goals for 2022. My first wife goal for this year is to every Sunday to ask my husband, what is one way I can bless you this week? Because it is so easy for me to just get caught up with doing me, to get in the busyness of life and all those to-dos that need to be done and just kind of think I know what my husband needs or what he wants and don't ask, which is not a very good thing because we all change. He may have different needs or there may be things I don't even know that's going on. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of slow down in the midst of our, you know, making sure we're on the same page with things because during the weekend, especially on Sundays, we do check in with each other. We make sure, okay, what's on the week ahead, kind of make sure we align our calendars. Like, okay, do you have any meetings? Are you going out of town? Or this is the stuff that's going on with the girls, or this is the stuff that's going on with me to make sure, you know, we have all our bases covered. However, in the midst of that, sometimes we can kind of not want to kind of impose on the other person or not want to feel like we're, you know, adding one more thing to somebody else's plate. So we kind of don't say anything about something we may need or want. So I want to not do that for 2022 because I want us to continue just to grow and learn about each other. But if I don't ask certain questions, I won't know. So in order for me to be more intentional as a wife, for me to make sure that I am, you know, doing my best to love my husband well, I need to make sure that I'm asking how he needs to be loved or what's one thing that he may need from me this week that may be different from last week, no matter how big and small, and allow him the opportunity and space not to feel like, you know, he's unloading one more thing on me, but allowing me to just love him well because that's one of my wife goals just in general in life, to make sure I'm loving my husband well. And it's so important that as wives, we are asking the questions, not thinking that we know everything, not thinking that we can kind of, you know, see everything and know everything that's going on and, you know, address all of our husband's needs and wants because we can't. We're not mind readers. So it's so important that we're intentional about asking the questions that we should. So this year, I'm going to make sure I'm asking my husband every Sunday, what is one way that I can bless him? And my second wife goal for this year is to read at least one marriage book per month. Now, I love reading. So reading books is always on my goals, just in general. For like, I love to read so I can grow personally. I love to read so I can grow my faith. I love to just read romance novels. I like to read. So usually on my list of wife goals, it is to read books on marriage, because you never can have too much information about marriage. Will you use all the information? No. Is some of them not for you? Absolutely. You need to use the wisdom and discernment God gives you, and talking to your husband about different things that, may work for you and may not. But, just having the tools in your wifey toolbox is so important. However, I know for me, especially last year, I had this, lofty idea of reading all these books, but I didn't give myself like a parameter. I didn't give myself, okay, I want to read this number or in this amount of time, so that I kind of just jumped from book to book. And I did read some, but not as many as I would want to, because I just wasn't intentional about making sure that I set true SMART goals, like, measurable goals. I kind of just set the goal and it was there and I had this list, but I didn't really work through the list as quickly or as diligently as I should have, because I just didn't set that as a true, like, SMART goal, or one of those, sustainable, measurable goals. So this year I'm going to do that. So I started my list already, and I'm making sure that, okay, I'm checking them down the list. But I also left some room in the list, because you never, know all the books out there. So I'm making sure that I have, a few holes in there. So as the year goes by and I talk to different people and I learn, kind of new books. But also I wanted to make sure that I left some room for you to share with me some books. So make sure in the comment box below you share some marriage books that you love that I may need to add to my marriage list. And my third wife goal for this year is to make sure that I'm initiating physical intimacy with my husband at least once a week. Because let's be honest, sex is important, and we need to make sure we're intentional about it. And just because I'm saying yes and we are actually having sex doesn't mean that I'm the one initiating it. And I know that that is something that would not just bless my marriage, but also bless me, because I find my husband attractive and I want to be intimate with him. So why should I not express that in a very intentional and directive way? Does it always have to be in grand, big gestures? No. But it's going to be in a way that he knows that, okay, I see you. Because after years of being married and kids and responsibilities and all the to-dos, it's easy to kind of just get into a routine and kind of, make sure you are being intimate, yes, but not being the one to initiate it. Because when we were younger, when we were first married, it was like, oh, I see you, and then we see each other, if you know what I mean. But now it's like, okay, just trying to get through the day, and it's like, okay, I do, feel my husband and be attracted to him and all that, but I don't necessarily initiate it, because that's just not the dynamic that has evolved in our relationship. But that doesn't mean that's the dynamic that has to stay. So I'm intentional about this year to make sure that, okay, the last 15 years of marriage have been great, but the next 15 will definitely be better. All right, that's it for today. And I want to know, what's one of your wifey goals for this year? Let me know in the comment box below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and then make sure you press that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now, until I see you again, bye.